The tension in the studio was almost visible in the air. What began as a routine celebrity interview quickly spiraled into one of the most talked about daytime television moments of the year, when Jennifer Lopez reportedly stormed off the set of The Kelly Clarkson Show after a heated exchange with host Kelly Clarkson. Fans watching from home were left stunned, as the normally polished and poised Lopez appeared visibly frustrated, her smile fading as the conversation took an unexpected turn. Asterisk. The episode had all the ingredients of a typical daytime appearance: applause, light banter, and discussion about Lopez's latest projects. She entered the stage to roaring cheers, radiant, as always, dressed in a sleek ensemble that commanded attention. Clarkson greeted her warmly, praising her decades-long career, from music to film to business ventures. For the first several minutes, the conversation flowed easily. They joked about busy schedules, motherhood, and the pressures of staying relevant in an industry that constantly reinvents itself. Asterisk. But the mood shifted when the discussion veered into more personal territory. Clarkson, known for her candid and conversational interview style, touched on the intense media scrutiny Lopez has faced throughout her career. While such topics are not unusual for celebrity interviews, something about the phrasing or perhaps the timing seemed to strike a nerve. Lopez's posture stiffened. Her answers became shorter, more guarded. Asterisk. Clarkson referenced the public's fascination with Lopez's relationships and the way headlines often overshadow her professional achievements. What may have been intended as empathy appeared to land differently. Lopez interjected, emphasizing that she has worked relentlessly for decades, and that her artistry deserves to be the focus. Her tone sharpened as she explained that she is more than tabloid stories, and that reducing her narrative to romantic drama is tired. Asterisk. The audience shifted uneasily in their seats. Clarkson attempted to clarify, insisting she admired Lopez's resilience and wanted to highlight the strength it takes to endure constant public scrutiny. However, the back and forth intensified. Lopez pointed out that interviews frequently claim to celebrate her accomplishments, yet circle back to controversy. Clarkson, momentarily caught off guard, tried to steer the conversation toward Lopez's upcoming projects, but by then the energy in the room had noticeably changed. Asterisk. Observers described the moment as awkward, rather than explosive. There was no shouting, no overt hostility. Instead, it was the kind of tension that simmers beneath the surface two strong personalities navigating a sensitive topic in real time. Lopez's frustration appeared rooted in a broader issue: the entertainment industry's long-standing tendency to define female artists by their personal lives rather than their work. Asterisk. After a brief exchange that felt longer than it actually was, Lopez leaned back, removed her microphone, and quietly stated that she did not feel the conversation was productive. She thanked the audience, stood up, and walked off stage. The crowd gasped. Clarkson remained seated for a moment, visibly surprised, before addressing the audience and cutting to a commercial break. Asterisk. Within minutes, social media erupted. Clips of the moment spread rapidly, with fans dissecting every word and facial expression. Some defended Lopez, arguing that she has every right to set boundaries and reject narratives that focus on sensationalism. Others criticized the walk-off as overly dramatic, suggesting that public figures must expect tough questions. Asterisk. The incident reignited broader debates about celebrity interviews and the line between curiosity and intrusion. Lopez's career spans more than 3 decades, encompassing chart-topping hits, blockbuster films, fashion ventures, and cultural milestones. From her breakout film role in Selena to her status as a global pop icon, she has consistently reinvented herself. Yet media coverage often fixates on her relationships, overshadowing her professional evolution. Asterisk. Clarkson, on the other hand, has built her reputation on authenticity. Rising to fame as the first winner of American Idol, she cultivated an image of relatability and emotional transparency. Her talk show reflects that ethos, often delving into heartfelt conversations about personal growth, heartbreak, and resilience. In many interviews, that openness fosters meaningful exchanges. In this case, however, it appeared to clash with Lopez's desire to keep certain subjects off the table. Asterisk. Industry insiders later suggested that pre-interview guidelines may not have clearly defined boundaries around personal questions. While most talk show appearances are carefully coordinated, live conversation carries inherent unpredictability. Even seasoned performers can find themselves reacting emotionally when sensitive issues arise. Asterisk. As speculation grew, neither Lopez nor Clarkson immediately issued detailed public statements. Instead, representatives offered measured responses emphasizing mutual respect. Sources close to Lopez indicated she felt blindsided by the line of questioning. Meanwhile, those familiar with the show's production insisted there was no intent to provoke or embarrass the guest. Asterisk. The fallout extended beyond the two stars. Commentators weighed in on the power dynamics between hosts and guests. Who controls the narrative? How much responsibility does a host bear in protecting a guest's comfort? And to what extent should celebrities be prepared to confront uncomfortable topics as part of their public persona? Asterisk. For Lopez's supporters, the walk-off symbolized strength. They argued that walking away from a conversation that feels misaligned is not unprofessional but empowering. In an era where mental health and personal boundaries are increasingly prioritized, many saw her action as consistent with a broader cultural shift towards self-advocacy. Asterisk. Critics, however, suggested that daytime talk shows thrive on candid dialogue, and that difficult questions are part of the format. From this perspective, walking off could be seen as shutting down meaningful conversation, rather than engaging with it constructively. Asterisk. The truth likely lies somewhere in between. Live television magnifies every nuance. What might have been a minor disagreement in private becomes amplified under studio lights and broadcast to millions. Facial expressions, tone shifts, and pauses take on outsized significance when replayed and analyzed frame by frame online. Asterisk. Interestingly, the incident also highlighted generational differences in media expectations. Today's audiences are more attuned to issues of agency and narrative control. Many viewers expect hosts to approach sensitive topics with heightened awareness. At the same time, audiences still crave authenticity, which often involves vulnerability and discomfort. Asterisk. Behind the scenes, production teams reportedly worked swiftly to manage the situation. The episode resumed after the commercial break, with Clarkson addressing the audience in a composed manner. She reiterated her admiration for Lopez and expressed hope for continued dialogue in the future. The remainder of the show proceeded with other scheduled segments, though the earlier tension lingered in viewers' minds. Asterisk. As days passed, analysis continued. Entertainment journalists revisited Lopez's history with media scrutiny, recalling previous interviews where she pushed back against reductive narratives. They also examined Clarkson's track record, noting her generally positive rapport with guests. Asterisk. Ultimately, the moment underscored the delicate balance of celebrity storytelling. Public figures rely on media platforms to promote projects and maintain visibility, yet they also seek control over how their stories are framed. Hosts aim to ask compelling questions that resonate with audiences, but they must also navigate guests' boundaries and emotional landscapes. Asterisk. Whether the walk-off will have lasting consequences remains uncertain. In the fast-paced world of entertainment news, controversies often fade as quickly as they flare up. What endures, however, is the conversation it sparked about respect, agency, and the evolving dynamics of televised interviews. Asterisk. For Lopez, the incident may reinforce her long-standing message that her legacy is defined by her work, not by headlines. For Clarkson, it may serve as a reminder of the tightrope talk show hosts walk daily, balancing honesty with sensitivity, curiosity with care. Asterisk. In the end, the clash was less about hostility and more about perspective. Two accomplished women, each commanding immense influence, found themselves momentarily at odds over how a story should be told. The cameras captured it all, transforming a brief exchange into a cultural flashpoint. Asterisk. And perhaps that is the enduring lesson of the episode. In a media landscape where every moment can be clipped, shared, and debated endlessly, authenticity carries risk. Conversations can veer off script. Emotions can surface unexpectedly. What matters most is how those involved choose to move forward, whether through dialogue, reflection, or simply the passage of time. Asterisk. For viewers, the scene served as a reminder that behind the glamour and applause are real people navigating complex emotions under intense scrutiny. For the industry, it was another case study in the power and peril of live television.